You launch your ads. First few days, everything's working. Sales are coming in, things feel good, and you refresh the dashboard every few hours. Then day 4 hits, then day 5, and then everything just slowly dies. Sales drop, cost per purchase goes up. You change the budget, you turn it off and on. Maybe you swap the creative. Sometimes it works for another day or two, but then the same thing happens again. And at some point you just start thinking, is it the algorithm? Is it my product? Is Meta just broken? It's none of those things. And today I'm gonna show you on this board exactly what is happening and why it's happening. So why your ads stop working after a few days and what is actually causing it. Before I get into the fix, I want to make sure we're talking about the same problem, because my ads stop working can mean a few different things, and most advice online treats them all the same, even though they're not. There are two completely different failure modes here, and they have completely different causes and completely different solutions. The first one, your ads work for a few days, then performance drops, but you can reset it by changing the creative. This is the one most people know about. The second one, your ads start strong, then drop, and nothing you do brings them back. New creative, new budget, new audience, nothing sticks for more than a week. And most brands are dealing with the second one and treating it like it's the first. That's why nothing works. Let me show you what's happening under the surface when you run a Meta ad. When you launch a campaign, Meta goes out into your target audience and starts finding the people most likely to buy. That's what the algorithm does. It's looking for signals. Clicks, add to carts, purchases, and it gets better at finding those people the more data it collects. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Meta finds the easy buyers first. Always. These are the people who are already looking for something like your product. They are warm. They are ready. They click fast, they buy fast, and they make your first few days look incredible. But that group is finite. There are only so many of them, and once Meta has shown your ad to most of them, it starts moving outward into the people who need more convincing. And your ad, the one that worked perfectly on the easy buyers, wasn't built for those people, so performance drops. This is creative exhaustion, and it's actually the more manageable of the two problems, because the fix is relatively straightforward. You need more creative variation built for different buyer mindsets. We'll come back to that. And here's where it gets more serious. The structural collapse. Let's talk about Noir, a fictional fashion brand, minimalistic basics, 80 to 120 price point. Noir launches their first real campaign. One ad set, one creative, a clean lifestyle video for the product, one audience, broad, 25 to 40, and fashion interest. And it works. Week 1 is great. Week 2, performance drops. They change the creative, it bounces back. Week 3, same thing. They change the creative again, it bounces back less. And week 4, nothing they do brings it back. The reason this happens isn't the creative. It's that Noir built their entire campaign on one assumption about who their customer is and what they care about. One audience, one message, and one reason to buy. And when that one message stops resonating, there's nothing else holding the campaign up. The whole thing collapses because it was never a structure. It was a single pillar. It's the same thing when you're building something. For example, this house right here. If you just have like one pillar, it's gonna tip, it's gonna fall over. It's not very stable. Why this keeps happening? Here's the deeper reason this keeps happening, and I want you to really sit with this for a second. Most e-com brands think about their ads like a switch, on or off, working or not working. And when it stops working, the instinct is to find the thing that broke and replace it. New creative, new budget, new audience, swap the switch. But a campaign isn't a switch, it's a system. And systems don't fail because one part broke. They fail because the whole thing was never designed to handle pressure. And the reason most brands build one-pillar campaigns comes down to something really simple. They found something that worked and they scaled it. Which makes total sense. If something's working, double down. That's basic business knowledge. But here's what actually happens when you scale a one-message campaign. You scale the budget, Meta goes wider. Wider means people who need a different reason to buy. And your ad doesn't give them that reason. So your cost per purchase goes up exactly when you expect it to come down. And scaling broke it, not because scaling is wrong, because the foundation wasn't ready to scale. So you didn't scale too fast, you just scaled a single pillar. And now I want to address something, because the most common response I hear to this is, I've tried multiple creatives, I've tested different visuals, different copy, different hooks, and it still dies after a week. But here's the distinction that matters. You can have 10 ads that all look different visuals, different formats, different hooks, and all 10 of them are saying the same thing to the same type of person. Here's our product, it looks good, buy it. That's one message dressed 10 different ways. And the broader audience doesn't care about any of them, because none of them are speaking to where the person actually is in their decision making. So what does a campaign that doesn't collapse actually look like? I'm going to show you how we would rebuild Noir's campaign from scratch, not with more budget and not with more creatives in the same direction, with a different structure entirely. And it comes down to one concept. This right here is the message matrix. Every person who might buy from you is in a different mental state when they see the ad. Some of them have never heard of the brand. Some of them have heard of it but aren't sure if it's for them. Some of them are ready to buy but haven't pulled the trigger yet. And each of those states needs a different message. Not a different visual, a different reason to care. And the message matrix maps that out. So we have the cold, warm, and hot audience. And then we have what they feel and what they need to hear. The cold audience, they don't know you. The ad's job here is not to sell, it's to earn attention and plant one clear idea about what this brand stands for. You're not asking for a purchase, you're asking for a second look. Warm audience, they've seen you before. Now the question in their head is this actually worth it? So the message shifts. You're not introducing the brand anymore, you're building the case for it. Quality cues, brand values, what makes you different from the 15 other minimalist fashion brands they've also seen this week. And then we have the hot audience. These people already want it. Something stopped them. Your job is to find that thing and remove it. Maybe it's the price, address it. Is it sizing? Solve it. Is it trust? Show it. This is the smallest audience but the highest intent. And most brands either underspend here or run the same ad they're running to cold audiences, which is the equivalent of repitching someone who already said yes. What does this look like in the ad account? Now let's make this concrete. In the actual campaign structure, this means you're not running one campaign with one ad set. You're running 3 distinct conversations happening simultaneously, each one built for a different type of buyer. We have acquisition, broad audience, creative that stops the scroll, one clear brand idea, optimized for reach, and top of the funnel. Then we have consideration, people who engaged but didn't click, or click but bounced fast. Creatives that build the case, story-driven, why you. Reconversion, visitors, add to carts, initiators. Creative that removes the last objection, specific, direct, urgency where real. And here's the thing about the structure. When the acquisition campaign starts to fatigue, which it will, because that's just how the platform works, the consideration and reconversion campaigns are still running. The people who saw the first ad and didn't buy didn't disappear. They're sitting in your warm and hot pools, and now you have something specifically built to convert them. So the campaign doesn't collapse, it just shifts weights. We have campaign 1 flowing into campaign 2 and 2 flowing into 3 and so on. And people move through this naturally. When one slows down, the other carries the load. And now we have this house again, but this time with 3 pillars and not just one. And this is what you're building. Not one thing that collapses, but 3 things that hold each other up. I know what this looks like. It looks like more campaigns, more creatives, more budget, more complexity. And I want to be honest. Yes, it's more work to set up correctly than running one campaign. But here's the comparison that matters. If you're spending, say, $1,000 a month on ads that die every week, you're not spending $1,000 on ads. You're spending $1,000 on a week of sales and 3 weeks of frustration. The structure I just showed you don't require more total budget. It requires that budget to be allocated across 3 jobs instead of be thrown entirely at one. And because each campaign is now speaking to a specific type of buyer, the efficiency goes up. You're not paying to show the same ad to the same people over and over until they tune out. You're moving people through a sequence that's designed to convert them wherever they are. More structure doesn't equal more budget. It means the budget you have works harder. How does this change everything? Let me show you what our fictional brand Noir looks like 6 weeks after rebuilding this way. Week 1 of the new structure, results look similar to before. The acquisition campaign is doing its job, nothing dramatic yet. Week 2, the consideration campaign starts picking up the people who saw the first ad but didn't buy. Cost per purchase comes down slightly because these people were already partway there. Week 3, the reconversion campaign starts converting. The add to carts that were just sitting there, these are the people who had already decided they wanted it. They just needed one more thing. The ad gave them that one thing. Week 4, the acquisition creative starts to fatigue. Normally, this is where everything dies. But this time, consideration and reconversion are carrying weight. Total revenue stays stable while you refresh the acquisition creative. And that's the difference. Not a campaign that works for a week, but a system that runs. And here's the thing that took me a while to understand about how Meta actually works. The algorithm isn't trying to break your campaign. It's trying to find buyers. And when you give it 3 clearly defined pools to work with, cold, warm, and hot, and 3 clear defined messages for each, it gets more efficient over time, not less. The campaigns that die after a week aren't dying because Meta stopped working. They're dying because they were built for one moment, not for a journey. So Meta is never working against you. It's actually trying to help you. You just have to feed it the right things at the right time. A campaign that's built for one moment dies in a week, and a campaign built for a journey compounds. All right, so let's bring this together. 1. Your ads stop working because Meta exhausts the easiest buyers first, then moves to people your current message wasn't built for. 2. Most brands respond to this by changing the creative, which works short term but doesn't fix the structure, so the cycle repeats. And 3. The real fix is a message matrix. 3 audiences, 3 jobs, 3 messages. Cold, warm, hot. Each one getting the thing they actually need to move forward. 4. In the ad account, this means 3 campaigns running simultaneously. Acquisition, consideration, reconversion. Each one feeding the next. 5. When you build this, individual campaigns can slow down without the whole thing collapsing, because you're not holding the roof up with one pillar anymore. If you want me to map this out for your specific brand, what your 3 campaigns should look like, what message fits each stage, and where your current setup is losing money, link in the description. I run meta ads, do account audits, and will run you through everything. And if this video made something click for you, please subscribe. Because next week I will show you exactly how the creatives for each stage should look like. See you there.